Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Green Team of the Legendarium. Today, I am your host, Cesky, and I have with me my esteemed co-panelist, Befuddled Panda.
Hello.
And today, we are excited to talk to you guys about a new book that is coming out. It is The House Saphir by Marissa Meyer. Now, this is an ebook that we did get from NetGalley, and so I just want to say thank you to NetGalley and Macmillan Children's Publishing Group. We thank them for their early copy for review. Of course, all of these opinions are our own, and The House Saphir does release on November 4th of 2025. So if you like listening to us talk about it and you think it's going to be fun, you should go out and get a copy. Now, Panda, we're going to try and keep this a little non-spoilery, but very
hmm
first, did you
Yep.
like the book?
It was okay.
It was okay.
It was
Um,
okay. I really
never.
liked the beginning. I really, really liked the beginning, and I really, really like parts in the middle. And then there were other parts where it's like, but overall, I did have to remind myself this is a YA book. And the
Mhm,
world
mhm.
building and like character development was just not as in depth as I would have liked, but the story was fun.
Never have such words wounded my heart so much.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I liked it, but I can totally see your points. The middle did feel like a YA book, right? The beginning was
Mm,
really exciting and really kind of
mhm.
interesting and unique, and it's getting you excited. And then middle, and then the end was really explosive and
Right.
high action again. And of course, it makes it exciting and good. So I can totally feel you there. But let's step back a little bit from this book. Panda, have you ever read anything else by Marissa Meyer?
Oh boy, have I.
You have?
I have read the Lunar Chronicles.
Ah,
So
yes.
the 4 um books in the series. I haven't read all the like short stories and the like novella.
I swear she
Um
puts out another short story about it like every time I turn around. It's-
and I did really enjoy the Lunar Chronicles when I read it, which was like probably 10 years ago.
yes, I remember you did, as this is a spoiler for one of our previous episodes, use the Lunar Chronicles as our guessing the bad review game.
Oh yes.
Yes.
I liked the
Um,
book. We were just reading bad reviews of books we liked.
yes, that's what it was. Yes. I've read the Lunar Chronicles as well. I really enjoyed it. I've also read her Renegade series,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
just a classic superhero, supervillain kind of tale,
Mhm.
and her Instant Karma and With a Little Luck series.
Is that the
Uh,
gilded one?
no,
No.
Instant Karma and With a Little Luck are more heavy romance with like very light supernatural
Oh,
stuff,
interesting. Okay.
but still enough fantasy that it's fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah, Gilded and Cursed, I do want to read, but I haven't read
Okay.
them yet either.
I
So
know, like, when she released Heartless, it was also really popular, but I haven't gotten around to reading that one.
yeah, neither have I. But I tend to very thoroughly enjoy Marissa Mayer. I think she writes really well. A lot of the things she's written is more YA, and that's fine. Everybody needs a book to read, and this one was a fun one. So let's see. In a non-spoilery kind of way, let's talk about our characters. That's
Okay.
okay. Let me give you a very no. I can't give you a synopsis yet or a summary yet because we're
Well, we
still in
what we can
non-spoilers.
say is what's, like, on the back of the book, right? It is a
Yes, that's
Bluebeard-inspired story. It says it's a Bluebeard retelling, and the main character, her name is Mallory Fontaine,
yep.
and it is, about her and her sister who are quote unquote "witches," and they get hired to help this count, get rid of Bluebeard's, ghost from
Yes.
his house because he's a
Monsieur
descendant of huh?
Lebleu. Monsieur Lebleu.
Monsieur Lebleu,
Yes.
because it's all
Otherwise known
French.
as Bluebeard because of his Bluebeard who, brutally murdered people. But
Yes, particularly his wives.
yes, that's exactly right. So, talking about our characters in a non-spoilery kind of way,
Mhm.
Mallory and Anise, they're our main characters. They're the ones we see the most of. How did you feel about them at the beginning? Did they work as characters for you? Were they just like the
Mm.
wrong fit for this kind of story, do you think?
I don't think they're the wrong fit. I think that Mallory's character at the beginning was very interesting and, like, entertaining,
Mhm.
and then she got really annoying for me.
That's fine.
And also, like, a bit inconsistent. I think the writing for this book in particular was a lot of like, because you get it's a single POV, right? You just get Mallory's point of
Mhm.
view. And so you also get in her head, you hear her thoughts, but then her thoughts and what she says and what she does sometimes feel a bit disconnected to me.
I think the thing that I think kind of bothered me the most about her character is the classic trope, "I can't think about that memory.
Oh,
I
okay,
can't
yeah.
think about what happened in the past because I don't wanna bring that
Sure.
up until we saw it." And so it happened a lot where she thinks back about what happened at a certain time, and we're
Right.
just given these hints. Can't think back to what happened there. What about what happened there? I'm never, like, and
Yeah.
I
You just
wish,
get bits and pieces.
yeah, I don't love that trope, and I just felt like I'm not, again, you guys, this is not against Marissa Meyer. This is nothing but praise for her book, but in my personal feelings, like, I just felt like that trope was used a little bit too much in this.
Sure.
Like, oh my gosh, it ruined the book, but just like I could have done with like 3 less mentions of the night that she's trying to remember until we actually learn about
Mm,
what actually happens, and then pieces start getting put together and things like that. Or there's other thing. I wish magic, or I know why her magic was not as on display. But I
right.
wish it could have been more on display. Right? I feel like they were very powerless, even though they
Yeah.
had some power. Right? I've just a little bit more competence from my young adult characters was a long, like, they didn't have to be super powered, but, like, just, like, I can do one spell. That's the only thing I've good locked to or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think my main qualm about, like, the character work, especially for the main character, is
Mhm.
that, well, 1, we're just thrown into the
Sure.
middle of, like, the story, which is fine. Like, that can work a lot of the times if it's done really well. But in this case, for me, it was just like, you get such little bits and pieces of the puzzle, and that was one of the main ways that the story was presenting the mystery. Like,
Mhm.
you don't really know exactly what happened between these sisters and like da 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 da. But it's also really obvious like what things happened. There were some twists, like a couple twists here and there, but a lot of it was very predictable. And so that kind of made this like drip feeding the past and like the character building to the reader kind of annoying because you're just like, "Come on, let's go. I already know what's gonna happen. I already know what happened. Just say it," kinda thing.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Let's move off of characters for a minute in our spoiler. Story as a whole.
Mhm.
The sisters, being hired to cleanse, this ghost, the spirit. Do you like the story overall? I like the story overall. I thought it
I
was
like the
good. It
story.
works well with the Bluebeard kind of like
Yeah.
leaning into like I don't know how actual historical fact, but like you could, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, like the
stories and like
original tale.
the original tales and stuff. I thought it worked really well hand in hand with that. It didn't feel like, it didn't feel like, oh my gosh, this is like just exactly telling me the exact same thing over again.
Right.
Right. But it felt fresh and new. You feel the same way?
I really did like the story. Um, I am a scaredy cat, and I do not read a lot of, like, really hardcore horror.
Mhm.
Like, that's just not my thing. Um, in real life, I do not do well in haunted houses. I will just scream my head off the entire time. So reading a haunted house, was much easier for me mentally, psychologically, and I did have a lot of fun. Like, this isn't really much of a spoiler, it's like the first chapter of the book, right? It starts
Mhm.
off with Mallory giving a tour, right, of a
Mhm.
house that, Monsieur Lebleu had owned and, it's supposed to be haunted. Like, I really enjoyed that. And then,
Mhm.
other parts of the story with, a different haunted house, like, that was actually quite entertaining, And there were a couple bits that was a bit on the scarier side, but overall, I was, like, enjoying it. So, yeah, I
Good.
did enjoy the story.
Good, good. No, like I said, I like the story as well. I think it is time for us to get into our non-spoiler section.
Our
Our
spoiler section.
spoilery section, excuse me. We're leaving the non-spoilery section. Words became, the
Well,
same to me in a second.
before we do that,
Uh-huh.
what readers would you recommend this book for?
Ooh. This is a tough one. I kind of want to say if the romance had played a little bit stronger, because I feel like it plays a little stronger in her other series.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much Cinder, but the other ones, yes. And I would recommend this to people who like a romance, even with a little bit of a dark tint to it. Like it's not
Mm,
seriously dark, but like that. But I really think any YA reader, if you want, if you're okay reading horror, but you don't like horror, I think this is an okay book to read that you would enjoy.
yeah, it's
Um,
not that scary.
yeah, it's not scary, but it does give you the illusion of haunting and scariness when
Yeah,
you're
the
reading it.
gothic vibes is quite
Yeah,
strong.
that's who I think I would recommend it to. Almost anybody, especially if you're, YA. I think this is a perfect book for you for spooky season.
Yeah, I would say why people who enjoy reading YA, you're okay with a bit of insta love, and yeah, you like haunted houses.
All right, so we both recommend it. You'd give it a 3.5.
I give it 3.25.
Yeah, okay. So right there in the middle. I give it about I think I'd give it a 3.75 to a 4.25, kind of in that range, depending on how I'm
Wow.
feeling. Where I find I
Okay.
put most of my books, but I just tend to like most of my books, and contrary to everybody else, I am not afraid to give good scores for books, and not that everybody is. Okay, if you haven't read the book, please go buy and read the book. We think you'll enjoy it. If you've been listening to us and it sounds intriguing at all, please go. Let's get into it. So, I'm going to give a good summary first. We'll talk about everything that goes on, and then maybe we'll break it into some smaller parts again. So, as we said, our main character, Mallory Fontaine, and her sister, Anais Fontaine, are con artists. They like to trick people a little bit. They descend from magical blood, but they have none of their own. They say at the beginning. Mallory is doing a tour of the Count Saphir's Monar house,
Morant,
Morant house. Yes, thank you.
his
And
city house.
his city house, yes. And she does her tour. She does her jingle jangle. She, oh, here, pay this. Until she is caught by the investigators,
Yeah.
and they getting ready to arrest her when the real Count Saphir shows up and, says, hey, she's not trespassing. It's okay. He enlists her help to come deal with Monsieur Lableu, otherwise known as Count Bastian Saphir. Bluebeard himself has been haunting his ancestral homes strongly the last 7 years, even more so, and making things worse. So they pack up. She extracts a good deal from him, 3,000 gallets, or gold, basically, as well. I just whatever.
Yeah.
They go to the house. They perform many con tricks, with Mallory trying everything she can to make it seem like she is performing an exorcism or doing things to dispel it, while getting ready to leave at the first sign of trouble. They are enlisted. Bluebeard does show up and threaten them. They try more things. They summon Fitcher and Constantine, a troop of monster hunters, basically, that come in to help them.
Right.
A little bit of negotiation. They leave. They come back. They fight Bluebird, and they cast the same curse he tried to cast, but different, and make it work without getting into too many details. Panda, you have a look on your face here. Tell me what I missed that you want to talk about.
Well, where do we even start? Okay, let me start with some positives.
Go ahead.
I really enjoyed all of the ghost characters. I felt like character-wise, they were a lot stronger than, quite a few of the human characters.
We have to disagree.
What?
Sorry. The two ghosts,
Chesky.
the two ghosts' wives
The
who were living in the
wife
house
2 and
before,
wife 3, Lucienne and Beatrice.
and Beatrice, I did
Beatrice.
not They did not really I didn't feel like they contributed a lot to anything. They felt much more one note to me because they barely interact with our characters. They interact
I would have
once with her on
loved
her
more
own.
time with them.
I agree. I would have loved more time with them, but what we got was Beatrice is always playing the piano and Lucien is always or Lucien, whatever, is always
Always, like,
drinking. And
drinking.
yeah, and I get it. Like they're ghosts, they're kind of stuck. Fone is always, complaining, "Oh, my head hurts. I have a cold. You're a ghost. You don't have any of these things. It's okay."
Hey, but ghosts
But
okay, speaking of ghosts, I was having a really hard time, like, understanding the rules in this world with ghosts. Like, ghosts can become corporeal for a very short amount of time, it takes a lot of energy, but then you have Beatrice being able to play the piano, like, for a longer length of time. If
I
some of this logic, physics stuff.
I feel like, yeah, sure, with us being only in Mallory's point of view, we're having a very limited understanding of what's actually happening.
So you're
Um,
you're saying, like, unreliable narrator kinda situation?
just she doesn't know, and so what she says is what she knows is what she's observed,
Okay.
and maybe the only thing I can think is that, like, the other one is always drinking,
Yeah, where does it
and
go?
I assume that they are able to eat it and incorporate it a little bit, and it just turns into energy,
That that
right?
that is not, like, addressed at all,
I
It's like
don't think it
there's
needs to be
no I
addressed.
mean, you could say, like, "Whatever, it's just ghosts," and not everything needs an explanation, but I'm sorry, if you're gonna go to the trouble of, like, saying, "Well, this is why the ghosts can't lift things," or "This is why they can, like, move curtains," or "It takes a lot of energy to, like, move a curtain," but then you
I
don't address, like, okay, they can what? They can drink wine? They can eat food?
They can eat food, but they don't generally eat food. Like, they don't have to eat food. It's an extra thing, that she uses to like, "Hey, let me
But
entice you with
where does
this."
it go,
What
Cesky?
happens to food when you eat it, Panda? It gets
Yeah, I'm
transformed
alive.
into
It's digested.
energy. Her ghostly energy energizes it. No, that didn't bother me. I just kinda gave it up to the more familiar the ghost is with a specific thing, the more they can affect it. Like,
Mhm.
Triffany was not really close to anything in that house, so, like, especially rattling curtains, and that might have been that they could only do it for a short period of time, and we don't know how long she actually played the piano. She could have been ghost playing the piano, just, like, touching the keys without actually pressing them.
But
Because they
then you wouldn't
said
hear the music.
they did say they'd hear, like, notes every so often. They didn't say they'd hear, like, a full song,
I don't
right? So,
know.
I don't know either, but that's fine. Let's talk about something else for a second then.
Sure.
What I love a good con, right? Just like I love a
Uh-huh.
good thief, but I wish I'd had a little bit more. I used to have magic and now I don't versus I never had magic kind of does
Yes, that was
the
confusing.
it was a little confusing until near the middle-ish end of the book, and even then it was like, "So are you guys just real con artists, or did you have magic?" And then it turns out they
Right.
had magic until, they summoned Bluebeard by accident and brought
Yeah.
him back.
And
Spoilers, by
and
the
it
way.
turns out her sister still had magic.
Her sister only has the death god touched magic, though, and
Right.
she never used it,
Right, but it's
even
not that they
before.
don't have magic, because they made it sound like that they didn't have magic at all, but in reality, they totally do.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it comes down to a question of, like, if you have magic but never use it or, like, aren't willing to use it, do you really have magic?
You still have magic, it's still there. That it doesn't matter.
If you don't know how to use it or you can't use
Sh
it, like,
she chose not to use it except for to speak to Julie. That was it. That was the
yes,
only
except
time
for
we
that one
got it.
time.
But yeah, I was, like, really confused about what Mallory was able to do before that night where they summon,
I think she
you
was
know
able to just do they called it the petty magic, the
they called it
cards,
petty magic. Yeah.
but then it seemed big.
I know, that was, like, my thing, was, like, you're calling it petty magic, which I understand why, because it's like, okay, it's not death magic, right? Like, she
Yeah,
can't
it's
perform
not.
necromancy or anything, but then actually they did open the portal,
You're not calling
to
up a ghost, you're not
the
doing
other
this or
world.
that.
Um, but then it also like, at one point in the story, it also said that it was powerful magic, so I'm like, "So it's powerful petty magic." Like, what?
I don't know. I kind of again chalk it just up to the characters being really young when their mom died, and so 10 to 13, so they
Giving
hadn't
them
really
a
been
lot of
initiated a lot.
leeway.
I give them a lot of leeway because I would be, yeah, so very similar
Mm,
in a lot of ways.
uh-huh,
But mystery with
uh-huh.
Count between Bluebeard coming in and doing stuff like you said. I thought Bluebeard was done really well. Just the right amount of spookiness at certain scenes. Were you at all pricked or confused with it? Armand versus Bluebeard.
Armand. Like, did I think Armand was actually the killer, you mean?
Yeah, or like that he was doing the things on purpose, or, not willingly versus possessedly.
Oh, like, did I think he was possessed? I have to admit, like, I didn't predict that piece,
Mhm.
but it was, like, in hindsight, like, it was quite obvious because so many things were pointing to it,
But in
so but,
hindsight,
like, the so some of the things, like, when Mallory and her sister, tried to, summon Gabrielle.
mhm.
Right. Instead of summoning Gabrielle, they summoned this like shadowy creature. Oh my goodness, I wonder what that is. How could it be? Oh my gosh, it's Monsieur Lebleu. Like,
We didn't really know
duh.
that they'd summoned a shadowy creature until like we'd already met,
Yeah, but like it was
Bluebeard and
so
stuff.
obvious.
I
And
feel like for a less avid reader than yourself, it would be easily
but, like,
passable.
Mallory was like, "No, no, no." She was, like, so adamant in, like, rejecting, things that were, like, pretty obvious, but also, I still had a hard time really understanding, like, what her end game was with regards to, like, being able to get paid without actually, like, being able to exercise,
I The only
Monsieur
thing is
Lebleu.
it's the run of the con, I con you, you give me the money, I leave
But,
before like I
like, there was very little concrete plan for how, like, she would even be able to achieve
well,
that.
when your choices are con somebody and say you can exercise an evil spirit or go to jail forever, you tend to pick the not jail forever
Uh-huh,
one.
uh-huh.
I like the switch between Armand and Bluebeard. Just it was a nice one. I did predict though that as soon as Julie was on screen for more than like 2.5 pages, I was like, she's the fourth victim. Like I just like I knew right
Oh, yeah.
away that she
Yeah.
was going to be the one, which is not bad. Again, very experienced reader, you
Yeah.
know, reading and able to be like, okay, I'm going to need 5 victims. Here's number 4, all doughy eyed and gooey. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we've been ragging on this a little bit more than
Sorry, that's
is
my bad.
necessary, Panda. No, it's fine. That's every book has flaws, and that doesn't mean it's not a good book. It just means it has some flaws. But what's something you really liked?
I really like the setting.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I said, it was fun getting like the descriptions of the house, and just the interactions that the ghosts had, and well, I did think that Fitcher and
Constantine,
Constantiano or whatever,
yeah,
Constantino,
you know, I don't have it
I
in
thought they
front of
were
me. I'm
fun
sorry.
characters, but they were definitely convenient for the plot. But I did really enjoy, like, what their characters could do and some of the backstory of the characters. Um, I do like, if she wanted to, if Marissa Meyer turned this into, like, a series and followed,
Witcher and
them.
Constantino, yeah.
Yeah, like the monster hunters, because, the whole time I was thinking like, "Oh, this is kinda like The Witcher." Yeah. Like, I would read that. I was way more interested
That's
in the
funny.
monster hunters than I was in Mallory.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. No, I wasn't. I thought they were nice, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I love these guys. I liked that that Mallory frees the wives, and they are like, we're gonna come for you, Bluebeard. Ghost that you
Oh,
may
yeah, yeah,
be.
yeah, that was cool.
5-on-1 still gives us an advantage, you know. I did like Armand and Mallory's kind of insta love. I know it's insta love and a trope, but I still liked it,
I
and I
still
just
don't
like that
under
she's like, "What?"
I still don't understand what Armand really sees in Mallory, though.
Just that she's weird and unique, and everybody
But,
likes
like,
somebody weird and unique.
at what point did he fall in love with her? Like, before the tour? During the tour?
I
After
would
the
say
tour?
during the tour when she threw him over her shoulder, it sparked the interest. Like, hey, nobody's ever done that or said that or spoken this brazenly and been like so outspoken.
I
Oh, and
guess.
then from there, it just the traveling or the other things. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I liked
You're
I
like,
like their
"Doesn't
little
matter, he
instant
loves
love.
her."
Yeah, that's all. I love that she's like, I can't tell if it's him or not. Like, then and it's like clearly like you can tell a little bit. Like it's not like he acts the exact same when he's
Well,
possessed or not.
there
But
was this one part, right, where she was shaving, giving him a shave, right?
yes, uh-huh.
And afterwards, she finds out, oh, Bluebeard Monsieur Lebleu can possess him. And she's like, oh, in that moment, because they like kissed in
Uh-huh.
that shaving scene. She's like, oh, I don't know if that was really him. But then she was like, but he remembers. He remembers that happening, which
Yes.
would point to that was really him. He wasn't possessed at that point. So,
Unless it
like,
was Bluebeard in both situations who was doing the kissing and the remembering,
I guess, but then
right?
that was when they were trying to, like, exorcise him, and then they're
Right, because
like,
they
"He's
thought he
not
was
here."
possessed and not
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
so
funny. It worked in the story as I was reading it, but it was
it was a little
what
convoluted.
was the other
Okay.
thing I thought was really funny? I'm glad I read it. Oh, I wish Anise had been more involved.
Yeah,
The sister. She was very, very secondary, and it's fine. It's Mallory's story. It's good, but I felt like I needed a little bit more Anise.
yeah, I agree. I think the sister could have had a bigger role.
Let's see. I don't think I have anything else written down. Did you have anything you wanted to talk about or bring up,
I had a
Panda?
really hard time understanding how old these characters were.
Well, you see, Panda, they are YA.
So, I think where I landed was Mallory's, like, 17. I think that's how old she is. Because
Uh,
she also kept referring to Armand as boy, like, "That boy," or "the boy," and I was like, "How old are you guys?"
Panda, when you were crushing on a boy, did you ever refer to them as that boy?
I mean, like, when I was a teen,
Yeah.
not when I was an adult.
No, no, but when you were a teen, like, because that's I don't
Yeah,
know. I always put YA slash anybody in a bucket of 18 to like 22.
I
It's just
guess.
like
It was
that's where
like
they
the maturity of the characters, it was, like, kinda hard to really pinpoint. The other thing was we get bits and pieces about how there was a veil,
yes.
in this world, right? Separating the supernatural, the monsters from reality, and the veil had fallen, and that's pretty much all we got. And I was like,
Yep.
"But that is interesting, like, I would
A
like
book
to know
2.
more." So that's a part where I'm like, the world building, like, they're interesting bits, but we just didn't get very much,
Like good
and,
world building, but you wished we'd seen other sides of it or yeah, like
like, more in
experienced more
depth,
of it.
more in depth. And also, like, there were so many different kinds of monsters, and it's all the French names for these monsters, right?
That was tough. Yeah.
And I was, like, I was thinking, what would it be like to just be a normal person living in this world, and there are just, like, these monsters around? I would feel like people would be more upset and, like, more scared in their day-to-day life, especially when it's, like, this big monster with tentacles and,
Well, but
like
I mean, I agree. I'm not. I don't want to like say I'm disagreeing with you, but if you're living in a city, there's way less of them, or way less of a chance of encountering one. Right? They only encounter them because they're at their remote manor, and
Uh-huh.
then also because of she put mad wort everywhere, which drew more monsters in. So I
Yeah.
I would say that like yeah, there's a chance. Like they lived in the city for 17 to 18 years, and
Uh-huh.
they'd never seen a magical creature before. And their mom was a witch, and they were like involved in it.
Uh-huh.
So
Which
like, I
to me,
so
it's kinda weird.
I think if you're in a city, it's not as big of a thing. But if you're on the outskirts or you're
Uh-huh.
outside of cities, then it's still a low percentage, but it's a higher than a city
I guess it's
percentage.
more just, like, the world building here, where
Hmm.
it doesn't feel as, like, lived in, and she's just kind of, like, telling you bits and pieces to move the plot along, so,
Sure, that's
but
okay.
yeah, that's about it.
Overall, good book. It was fun. It was quick. It's YA, so if you like YA, you'll probably like it as you go in and read it. Um, Tell
Chesky
me
is
I'm
being
wrong,
way more
Panda.
generous than I am about this book.
Chesky is always way more generous about all the books he reads because he's never written a book, and so he likes to make sure
Except
that.
about Susanna Clarke's books and
Uh,
Infinite Jest.
Excuse me, Infinite Jest is not a book. It's a series of weird thoughts that somebody had masquerading as a book. It goes on entirely too long. And Susanna Clark, I only say mean things because I really dislike them. It's admirable effort for writing those books, and everybody else likes them. So since everybody else likes them, I'm allowed to dislike them.
Oh my gosh.
And is there anything else you'd like to talk about in this episode?
I think that this book had, like, could have been really, really good and really, really interesting, and I'm just a bit disappointed that it wasn't.
Do you think if it was non YA, if she had
I think
targeted it more as an adult kind of fantasy, that it
uh-huh.
would have been better?
I don't think that it being YA was necessarily the problem. I think that even as a YA book, we could have gotten more world building, more realistic character development, more interesting romance. That's my take.
Okay. Well, that's fine. You're allowed to have your take, wrong or right that it may be.
Uh-huh.
But that is going to conclude our episode about the House Saphir by Marissa Meyer that we got from NetGalley. Again, thank you to them. If you want to chat with us about anything we covered or missed in this episode, you can check us out on the Legendarium's Discord. You can find the link to that on the legendarium.com. The intro and outro music is Galactic Damages by the Jingle Punks. Thank you to Craig for loaning us a little piece of his media empire. And until the next time, we'll see you then. I'm Chesky, and that's Panda. Bye.
Bye. Did you know this was a retelling when you were going into it?
I knew this one was about Bluebeard, yes, because it says literally in like the beginning, like this is about Bluebeard, and so, but it's not really a retelling.
It is,
A
just with
retelling would be
some
like from
flair.
the a retelling would be like from Gabrielle Savoy's. Let's talk about this in the
Okay,
episode.
okay, okay.
Okay.